Boris Johnson is under fire in the UK. The Prime Minister is accused of using donor funds for personal use. He's also facing backlash for anti-lockdown comments he allegedly made at the height of the coronavirus crisis last fall. CBS News contributor Simon Bates has more, with a reminder Simon's opinions are his own and do not necessarily reflect those of CBSN.
It was the week when Boris's past finally caught up with him, but many people here simply didn't care. I'm talking about Boris Johnson, Britain's Prime Minister, known around the world by just his first name. Now, Mr. Johnson has had a rather checkered past in his personal and professional lives. He's not told the truth on numerous occasions, but still managed to rise to the top. There always seems to be one rule for Boris Johnson and another for the rest of us, because even those who don't care for him will gently mutter, "Oh, never mind, it's only Boris," when some new shocker gets reported. This week he was under fire over his personal conduct and integrity. Who stumped up tens of thousands of dollars to refurbish the Prime Minister's apartment in Downing Street, where he lives with his fiancée, Carrie. Mr. Johnson says he paid for it himself. The opposition Labour Party has accused him of lying. They think the bill was originally settled by a party donor without being declared. Now, if true, this is a serious offence. It is now under investigation by the authorities. Also leaked this week was a rather crass comment Boris Johnson was alleged to have blurted out in October on the prospect of a third lockdown. Now, could a British Prime Minister really have shouted out, "No more lockdowns, let the bodies pile high in their thousands"? He denies it, of course. Several journalists have spoken to sources who say they heard it. To make matters worse, Mr. Johnson's once closest aide has now turned on him. Dominic Cummings, a sort of British Steve Bannon, who was fired last year, accused his old boss of being unethical and, quote, falling below the standards of competence and integrity the country deserves. Ouch. Is Mr. Cummings speaking truth to power, or are these just the bitter words of a disgruntled former employee? There are some who consider that Boris Johnson has proven himself unfit for office, but to be honest, many Brits aren't that bothered, and his party is still ahead in the polls. It's been a tough few days, though. He was visibly livid when challenged in Parliament.
Taking back control of our country has allowed us to deliver the fastest vaccine rollout in Europe, as he well knows, Mr. Speaker, which would not have been possible if we'd stayed in the European Medicines Agency, which he voted for.
In the past, whenever Boris Johnson has got into trouble, he's always managed to shrug it all off. But this time, the pressure is rising, and people here are wondering whether Britain's Teflon man can really slither out of this one. That's London Calling for today. This is Simon Bates for CBS News in Devon.